Right, everybody, how's it going? Real Diversity here. We are back with another video. We're going to be talking about the Paldean Wonder B2a card list, doing a complete breakdown. So we're going to be running through and let me fix this really quickly. So one quick thing really quickly, there's an alarm going off in my building right now. I don't know if you guys will be able to hear it. I've tested the audio. I could not hear it. So, if you guys can hear any background noise, I may just not even upload the video, but um, if it's sorry for any minor inconvenience, but I tested it earlier, didn't hear too much, so we're gonna roll with it and just jump straight into it. First thing I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna scroll all the way down to the items and just kind of take some peeks here, just peeking, 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 peeking. Okay, first thing I want to do, and this isn't a very big of a set. This is a pretty small set. Um, but here we go. Let me jump straight to the trainers. I always do this. Is this right, by the way? Is that a penny? Is penny not already in the game? Okay, okay. I jumped straight down to the bottom to see the support because one of the biggest things about the game is that I think the supporters always like I'm looking at cards and I think these are really important to know before I look at a bunch of Pokemon and I'm just writing them off, especially if there's something specific like this for Mona. Okay, so first and foremost here, I have played the TCG Live and I was playing that before Pocket, and those matches were quite a bit longer. I remember always playing them like waiting just during times of the period where I was waiting. And those matches were quite long, and you could not really leave your phone in pocket. You could play a match in like 3, 5 minutes. Those matches would be like a lot of times easily 12 to 15, maybe. Um, so I immediately recognized some cards here that were in that game as well. Hot Air Balloon was a card in the game. This card was in the game, and this card was in the game. Penny, I think, is Ayuno as well, were also in the game. So let me look at these items and trainers really quickly, and then we will talk about the Pokemon. So, electric generator in the live, this one just automatically, I think, put two electric energies onto electric type. Let's see what it does here. Flip a coin. If heads, take electric energy from your energy stone and attach it to one of your bench Pokemon, your bench electric Pokemon. So that's very interesting to think about because, um, this is not active. This is not any Pokemon. This is your bench only. So that's very interesting. And that limitation makes this card kind of not as good. All off rip. Just anytime you're limited to the bench, because now say you're in a situation where if they were active and you could have gotten the energy you needed, but yeah, so but energy acceleration, but this really needed more than anything needed to be on like fighting. But for electric. Um, the one card I can just kind of think of maybe this could get some value from is Mega Ulterior. Also, maybe now you don't need the Magnemite, but I think the benefit of having Magnemite was that you could always, I don't know if you guys see my mouse here, but hope maybe not. But the benefit of the generator, at least of Magnemite, is that he can generate his own energy. So, it's interesting to think about. Maybe Raikou could make a resurgence. I don't know. It's an interesting card though. It's not guaranteed though. That's the issue. If this was guaranteed like Flame Patch or something, if this should have just been like Flame Patch for electric, um, but yeah, if it's taking and when we're flipping coins, you never know. Take like it just should have been guaranteed. Flipping heads is just not good either. So higher. Okay, this looks like it does the exact same thing. I think from the TCG Live, which was give a stage 2 0 retreat. If I remember correctly, it's been a while. I think this was specific for stage twos. But this is interesting because I don't know if it completely took away their retreat or if it just reduced it by a few, but this one completely takes away the retreat. So that's interesting for a card like Mega Venusaur, for example. Um, have your retreat there. So that's interesting to think about. Um, Mega Blaze, it can, which already has one, but oh, Mega Gardevoir. They make Gardevoir has a stadium, so I don't know. I really don't know what this parasite. This again, we may see something in the set outside. I'm thinking all my thoughts are basically the old Pokemon because I don't know what the new ones are yet. Discard a random energy from among the energy attached to all of your opponent's Pokemon that have an ability. Random. Oh, just no, no. Hold on. Discard. Let me read this right. If that's what I just thought, if I read that right the first time, what the heck? Discard a random energy from among. Okay, so just one from among the energy attached to all of your opponent's active Pokemon that have an ability from among. So I think it's just one. Because it says random, discard a random energy from among the energy attached to all. So is this, does this, I don't know if I could be reading, I'm assuming this is just one energy from one of your opponent's Pokemon that has an ability. But if I'm read, if this is saying where it's taking one energy from every Pokemon that has an ability, that's kind of broken. That's kind of broken. Um, so I can immediately see any advantages to this. But yeah, that's the thing. So this hurts quite a bit on like any like sweet. This seems like a direct Suicune counter kind of deal. Suicune Greninja. That's like the first deck I'm thinking about here. Suicune Greninja definitely gets hit kind of by this specifically, and it's guaranteed energy. So this isn't like this is a very good card for nine. Alolan Ninetales actually. If Alolan Ninetales, but are most decks running abilities like that? But this is a strong card for Alolan Ninetales for sure. Iuno, so this is another card that was really big. I think we already have Iuno, did we not? Or was it called something? Didn't we, each player shuffles their cards into their hand and then draw them. Yeah, I think we already have this, so I don't know what that's about. Um, so Palmont does 80 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. This is the most bonus attack I've seen, I think. The other highest was like Cynthia, who did 50. Um, Flip a coin. If his okay, so this is the one card I did see earlier. Flip a hit coin. So this card is staple in the live TCG live, the original, the actual card game. The reason is this lets you to take out an item and a tool card in the actual game. On here, it says flip a coin if heads put a random card from your deck into your hand. So item card, sorry. And if tails put a random tool card from your. So the issue with this, and I read this earlier and I was like, oh, this seems sucks. I don't like this card. It should have been you pick, maybe you pull, it should have been like May, where you just pull a random item and a random tool, and you get to decide which one you keep. That's what I think it should have been. It should have been something like that. Um, but not a bad card either way in a deck like, um, Hydreigon, I guess, who's running both a card in a deck like I think Crobat definitely could use a card like this for sure. Crobat would get some benefit out of it, but the not being able to choose either or is gonna be bad. But if you're getting those hits, this is essentially a rare candy finder. If you're getting hits, so and you're not running like nothing else, like a lucky pop or something like that. But I think definitely, you're just, this is automatically making hot Dragon decks for sure. But I don't know where the room is at for it, but it's gonna make it. Penny, look at a I think, okay, look at a random supporter card that's not Penny from your opponent's deck and show up. This was already in there. So are they just are these just new arts for these cards like Ayuno and Penny? Or does anyone know? Can someone leave a comment on that? Or did this website just mess up the cards here? Um, once during your each turn, so the stadium once during each turn, that player may flip a coins. If heads, that player may put a random Pokemon from their deck onto their hand. I think this card was also in the live. I think what this one did was let you each turn one player could pull one basic. I think out their deck, something like that. If I'm right. Okay, let's go back to the top and start over. Oh wow, this is really short. Okay, so Masquerada. Let's see what we got here. Okay, I've seen. I'm sure a lot of you may have already seen this. This was leaked earlier. Um, and that's why I don't like when people talk about just the leaks, because like you don't have the full context. So it's like we can speculate, but without full context, like it's hard to really make a good, opinion really. So Sprigatito 20 and the mid stage is one energy for 30. So for Masquerada, it looks like you're gonna be able to hit anything. It's like a sniper. You can hit anything, but it doesn't do damage until the end of your opponent's next turn. So do 70 damage to the Pokemon in the spot you chose. So in any spot you choose, 70 damage. So I was thinking too, like, okay, well, if a Pokemon like leaves that spot, like do you hit an empty spot? But that's not possible unless, I guess technically it is, if your opponent is able to knock out their active and put whatever that was you spot you chose into the active, and then that spot's empty. So maybe that is possible. I think your opponent just has to do a self knockout, which is super rare. But either way, something is gonna be in that spot, whether the active retreats into it or is something that stays there. So you're almost guaranteed to still hit that 70. It's no way to like kind of maybe shuffle your cards and hope that you go to an empty spot or something like that. So that's not really a thing. But also, and you do 80 for Solar Beam. So, very similar to Decidueye, which I think Decidueye might have more HP, but interesting card, super effective, I would think, into like Hydreigon for sure if you go turn one. But the issue is, if you go even on your first turn 1 second, your opponent now has had, well, 2 turns. So they've had 2 full turns. So that gives them time to also evolve. So it's nothing. It's not as good as just straight up doing 70. So they gave it a condition. But it's an interesting condition because it's a lot of mind games with this as well. Um, Spidops bind down during opponent's next turn. Defense foe cannot retreat. I think this was also in the TCG, which was like a little trap deck, I want to say, if I remember correctly. Again, hope you guys cannot hear the background noise. The alarm is going off, but we're going to ignore it. Switch to your opponent. Switch this Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon. Nimble. Do you evolve into anything? Maybe I don't. Maybe your evolution is a different type. I don't see it here, but let's keep this in mind for Nimble or Nimble. If I'm saying it right. Arbovia. Okay, let's look. What do you do? I'm looking at ability here, but let me first look at you guys. Nothing crazy. Okay, Arbovia. Um, extra heal once during your turn, you may heal 60 times from one of your Pokemon's EX that has any energy touch. So if you do, discard a random energy from that Pokemon. Okay. Stage 2, so 60. Okay. Luckily, this does not benefit Hydreigon. This does benefit Mega Altaria, but Mega Altaria is not gonna run this. I guess Pinsir EX or I'm sorry, Mega Pinsir EX is something I can see. Leafeon even could work out. But again, that's a stage 2 and a 3. It would have to be a basic. The only thing I can think of is like Pinsir, but it's just any EX. Even just any of the basics. I would have to go through like rack my brain on some of the basics. But Suicune is interesting too in a sense. Because again, this is and it's colorless. He can attack. This card can attack. Interesting. This is splashable because not like I was just thinking. I mean, it's splashable anyway because it can heal any EX, right? No limit to harassment. But what's interesting on top of it is this card can attack too. They definitely. Who's the audience for this? This is gonna see some play. I just don't know who yet. I don't know the correct partner for that. Anything else good for bit? Flip a coin until your next until you get tails to take a 6 cents for each head. One of those? Dang, that's kind of crazy. Guarantee 60 with like 3 heads, that's 180? Yeah, that's insane. But that's not knocking like a for 100 HP. It feels like 130 or something. 100 and just about everything's knocking it out. So let me look at you. Scorvillian. Hopefully I said that right. Scovillian. I think I said it right. Red Hot Headbutt. If your opponent's active Pokemon is a grass or steel Pokemon, this attack does 40 more damage. Not worth it. 100. It should have been 60 more, but even then, 100 damage for 2 energy, and this thing only has 100 itself. So if this thing attacks itself, it dies. That's interesting. Okay, flip a coin. This attack does 20 damage. I'm reading ball roll right now. If you guys can't see my mouse, I'm gonna look at Wu Chen here and Binding Greed. During your opponent's next turn, this attack used by hold on, fix these headphones. Okay. During your opponent's next turn, this attack used by the defending Pokemon costs 2 more. The defending Pokemon. There is no. Oh, this is a basic too. That's interesting. The only because you would never like the time. The only thing that I can see, Leafeon has a new partner, I guess. But even then, the time to set that up is insane. I guess another thing, the more safer bet would probably be Superior. This thing is Superior, maybe would be maybe a lot easier on the setup because no matter who you led, you'd be okay. And you get this thing going your second turn. If you go second, so, dang, that would actually be broken. This thing second turn, if you go, this might Superior with this might be the move. If you get that turn, just very conditional, but you lead this or Chingling, and so you get the Superior set up and Wu Chen out. I mean, hey, and then you can throw a Celebi in there for the fun of it too. So that's pretty tough. Your opponent be like locked from attacking like the for like yeah, that would be immediately game, I think. No, I guess not to Hydreigon actually. Hydreigon can and Hydreigon one shots too. God dang. And Hydreigon one shots. Alright, interesting. Alright, let's look at the flyer types here. Oh, I see Armor Rouge. Uh let's look at this evolution. I don't know. I don't know how you say this. Skilly Dree? Dir Dirgy. I tapped out, and by the time Gen eight or nine, whenever Gen this is, Cameron, I'm not familiar with the names of the newer starter or just any of the newer ones. Once during your turn, let's read his ability though. I always love when I see a card with a long ability passage. Once during your turn, you may discard 1 fire energy from this Pokemon in order to use this ability. During this turn, attacks used by your fire Pokemon do 50 damage to your opponent's action. 50 more from this Pokemon with this ability. So, mm, don't immediately see any benefit here. Like with any older card, no immediate synergy. I think with Flame Patch, oh, well, this in Flame Patch actually is kind of not bad, but what would be the like? So you would need a basic too, and then oh my god, and then his basic. Oh wait, put one random Pokemon, one random Sand Flame takes onto your bench. Well, but then you have to retreat, and this thing takes 2 energy to retreat. Insane. Not gonna be fun to deal with. If you lead Fukoku here. Um, all right. So Armor Rouge here. If I'm saying that right, Rouge. Am I saying this right? Or is it Armor Rogue? Oh God, please don't. No one hurt me in the comments. This Pokemon takes 30 less from the. Okay, this does not. I always never liked abilities like this, but this is significant when it comes to like things like Chingling, things like the babies. Anything doing 20 is not. It's not doing no damage. So this isn't like. There was another of ability where it said this Pokemon like attacks under like I think 40 damage do no damage or something like that. That was I thought that was a better ability, but then it was like no, because if anything does over that damage, it still does the full damage. So, but these are more interesting when you do a minus. So minus 30 is like damn, that's actually pretty strong too. So just to throw out some numbers, Hydreigon's only hitting for 100. Same with Mega Altaria. 50 only hitting for 50 from Mega Absol. Um, Suicune's maybe only hitting for like 30, or Suicune, oh, I say plus the weakness. Suicune's fine because of the weakness, but yeah, interesting. Okay, but what does your attack do? Discard a functionless Pokemon. Okay. And then I don't think you would pair these because that's a stage two and a stage one. Um, oh, and you can always pair with Magby here. Interesting card. This is says has and 120 is interesting too. No burn or nothing though. Yeah, I didn't see any. Fire is always that's the issue with fire. Fire always has these cards that discard energy. Every type has like its own specific thing it doesn't. Fire is like always discarding energy. Okay, and then Chayu, what do? If any of your Pokemon were knocked out by damage from an attack during your opponent's last turn, this thing was so pretty much like what's his name? Marshadow. So pretty much a fire Marshadow, which is interesting. Why not give like almost every like type these tech cards like this? Why not have every type have a tech card like this? This isn't bad at like an early game setup, maybe if you're I don't know where you can take this like this Magby and you send something else up and this thing swing comes in for a quick 100 onto your opponent's like mega or something. That's not too bad. Okay, Quackquavel. I think say this one if I remember correctly. This is one out there. Quackquavel. If this Pokemon remaining H with Torrent, so interesting. Which in the animes, your HP's low, you get an attack boost. So let's see what it or in the and what the anime in the actual video game as well. If this Pokemon's remaining HP is 50 or less, attacks used by this Pokemon do 60. Interesting. How do you set that up with like there's no item like there's no like focus slash item or anything. So you could almost never set this by attacks used by this Pokemon. So what do you say? He's doing 150. How would you like that's not bad, but how do you ever set that up? How do you ever set that up? Unless there's some card that puts you at like that range. Is how would you even set that up? Start prevent all damage and effects done to this Pokemon. A lot more basics need to have this. Swablu would be crazy with something like this. Like instead of sleep like that and Swablu would be crazy. Power Fan Jet Punch. This attack does 50 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. Oh, also, okay, 50-50. Um, if that was two, that might see some play, but I don't think with three, that might not see no play. Again, I know you gotta be cautious because like Misty and stuff, um, but yeah, I don't think that's gonna see much play. Ice Punch, flip it. If I was gonna say they got freeze now in this game now. Paralyze is essentially interesting. Paralyze is interesting because you're guaranteed to not be able to do anything that turn, but also you will like you're fine the next turn. So this is yeah, not gonna probably see play, but very much the new Galvantula for water types, and you can get this set up with like a Manaphy and doing 80 with Will. Your opponent can. This will be annoying. It's only doing 80 though. So it's still like 30 to kill. And I'm sorry, some of these may be from the game. I think this art too. I think this Amaru, I think he's from this is the same art. I think he's definitely from, um, I think all of these cards for the most part are like copy art from the other. Cause I noticed Bash Caliber looks very familiar. I'll remember him now. He's coming back to me. Yep, in both of these, all three of these arts are looking very familiar to me. He was super Bash Caliber, super annoying. Okay. These water types, insane amount of energy needed. Like what? Like not everyone's running Misty now. Come on. If you have no cards in your deck. Oh, wait, how the heck would you pull that off? That is an interesting Hail Mary play. Um, is this Ching Pao? Oh Lord, what do we? Oh God, these. What even is this set? Did any like I didn't read nothing about this set, but this is giving me PTSD from this from Ching Pao and Bass Caliber is giving me PTSD. So Luza V Luza looks very interesting. Tatsugiri and Dondozo Giant Impact during next turn spike can attack. Okay. Not good. It only doing 120 if any of your Pokemon were knocked out by the this attack does 60 more. Is it? No, the other one was fire. That was a cheat. You don't have that. Um. Okay, let's look at Bass Caliber Ice Maker. Once during your turn, you may take a water energy from your energy zone attached to the Pokemon in the active spot. Guaranteed water. Is that what the? I think when you evolve this card, you could set three water energies. So this is interesting. Once during your turn, you may touch. That explains why all these water types are on here now. But setting this up, this is like the new. This is very interesting. I cannot think of any types right now that benefit. Let's see what Qingpao does. Qingpao probably plays directly into this during just so dive my signature card or orange transfer when this attack does 100 times to your opponent's act to one of your opponent's Pokemon. Interesting. 130. It's gonna take you 2 turns to reload though. There's no way to get that quicker. And he needs all. How do you do that? Even with, I mean, if you have two Bass Calibers, one second, so I guess you would need two Bass Calibers set up, chain power 130. Even then, that's not doing enough at all. Okay, but that's something. Bass Caliber is something for sure, regardless. Though. Oops, sorry. That's something. All right, let's look at Palmon here. Trying to change Pokemon. So he has 100. So with the supporter, he does 160, I think, right? Or 70? Once what was the supporter? Hey, 180. Oh, to your opponent's active EX. I have to read the fine print. EX. 180 is crazy. That's one-shotting anything. Mind you, he only needs two energy. This is well, you can't stack that. Wait, and he stays two, so you can't use the stadium. I was like 190 knocks out Mega Ulterior, and this I think one shots Mega Absol though. Isn't Mega Absol only at 170 or something like that? And what's the? I guess sometimes when it's a good enough card, let me look at the basic to this. Oh, and you can set up the Cyrus play 180 to EX, and then like I don't think anything is one shot you really either. 180 then 100, nothing surviving that. First of all, 180 is tough. Yeah, this is gonna see play. I'm just trying to think of like it just depends, I guess, heavy on what the meta is. But 180 to the face is crazy. And you will see you like this is more consistent, do you think? Because I played like Garchomp and Garchomp was I always had Cynthia. Like you always have the card you need. With a Rocky helmet too, Mega Ulterior can't even attack back into you. And then what's funny, if you hit Mega Ulterior and then you save one of your Palmy, it can just come in and finish it off. That's so crazy. Okay, let's look at Billy Bull. Have versus cannon. If this has four more intercessors, this attack does 70 more damage. Four or more. 140. I would have liked it better if this did 100. 100 did like 30 more or 40 more, I mean. Or 50 even 50 more. 100 then did like 150. This is worse than I would rather play Dawn Fan than this. And then there's like no EV light type deal you can do here. I mean like memory light, no nothing crazy like that. Like not worth it. But yeah, I don't think it's anything worth that. But you can't I mean with that new item you may can if you look up, you may look up speed wings for this how much was Electro doing? Wasn't he doing 70 for two or something like that? This isn't crazy bad. And zero retreat 40? I don't know where you would fit that at, but that's actually not crazy bad. We're all done. Uh, I'm sorry, I got distracted. Look at the other ones. This attack does 30 damage on your opponent's bench. Okay. So not crazy good there. And then if you lead this thing as such, if your opponent's active, so fighting sword, if your opponent's active, Pokemon is a EX. This is a good set. That's interesting, but the issue with you is only 110 HP is crazy bad. Psychic does have quite a bit of ramp though, but that's not saying play rough. For instance, like there's nothing crazy good here. Oh, I forgot Goldie Go Dingo when we get to him. It's another one. Psybeam. Wait, what's your was this the one that had the Noel? Wait, what's who's is this his evolution? No. No, here it is. Reeler. Each hit. What you go? And a new Mankey. Hold on, I got that's exciting. We gotta see what that's about. Um, that is interesting. I have to put my I'm confused. That is not bad at all. And a psychic deck to just throw in there. 80 for 80 and your opponent's confused? This thing is like getting one shot easily by anything, but yeah, the only issue is the investment here. It's such a high investment. What else would you play behind this that didn't like I don't know, but there it is. Toad School. I remember this guy. This is EX come here? Okay, no. I got distracted. Okay, what do you do? This attack does 20 more damage for each energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. Oh, okay. I always like cards like this. But so you're only doing for 70, only doing 70 if they got two energy. Nothing crazy good there. What's Houndstone doing? This attack does 20 more damage from each energy second and your discard pile. 20 more damage. I don't know how you would rack up like huh, Oh, each psychic Pokemon. I just read energy. That's even worse. This thing is 20 right now, so each psychic Pokemon. So you're like you're never gonna really ramp this up. Like at most, what do you like discarding two maybe? 90 at most, even at three, like it's never gonna see play. Alright. What's Mankey doing? Fierce Swipe. What's Rage? Just attack this more damage equal to oh interesting. More damage equal to the damage this Pokemon has on it. But the max you can do is 100 is like nothing. 100 for one is not isn't too bad though, but also it's 30 damage too. So Annihilate. Ooh, 90 for one energy. But this is stage two. When it, like it, I don't. It's not the knowledge stuff is interesting. Is this like an evolution? Like I don't know too much about this, but this will probably essentially now is like a mid stage. Is this like, or is this just like an alternate form of primate? So, or is primate now a mid stage card of Pokemon? Um, okay, Totodile. I used to run a deck on TCG Live with Totodile. It's one of my favorite. So this one flip a coin if hits your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed. Again, guaranteed paralyzation. It sucks that this one's stuck in the fighting though, so not gonna get any real play because of that. Croft 70 this Pokemon's out confused. Okay. I remember seeing this card too. Teen Glue also remember seeing this card. This Pokemon's remaining HP is 40. If this Pokemon's remaining HP is 60 or less, this attack does nothing. Nothing. I can't remember. It's been so long since I played the actual lot, but the art looks familiar, the names look familiar, I can tell. I can't remember if they are exactly what that card did or not though. Discard the top card of your opponent's deck. Um oh this is the one that had okay, so flip a coin. If tails this like does nothing. 80 for one energy is not bad, but again you're flipping coins for that. That is not bad, but not I don't think worth playing a wheel just to hit for 80 for one. No. No, no. And they could never like add a card that like like a item like for like a item version of wheel because every decks become like that opens a Pandora's box if they ever add like multiple ways to get consistent hits. That's a Pandora's box. Right there. All right, I really hope you guys cannot hear that alarm. I'm trying to actually. Flip a coin. If tails, this attack does nothing. If hits during your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage. It's oh my god. So not only it is a basic too, it's interesting. Specifically to just that Pokemon. So you can get Sabrina up out of there. So, um colorful attack. If your Pokemon in play have three or more different types of energy, it's just that's never gonna oh for one energy though, you're doing 100? That's interesting. The only deck this is like, into a hole deck is the only deck that like what three or more what the heck? No one does that to contain giant hammer during your presentation caves. Interesting. 140 is not crazy bad for three energy. Okay, Goldingo, another card that has been getting some attention. One of your opponent's Pokemon is chosen at random for each energy attached to this Pokemon. For each time a Pokemon is chosen, do 40 damage to it. So the more energy, the more you're doing. You're doing 120. sporadic energy with three energy on this thing. So this is a card too. If you can't deal with quickly, even in the active spot's kind of troublesome. Even just sitting, I think people were trying to like power this thing up, but I'm like, even if you just like lead it and you go like second and your second turn you're doing 80 and then they can't deal with you just yet, like that is crazy. And you just may disrupt whatever they're doing because that's 80 into maybe you take out their whatever they're trying to set up. So not crazy. Squawkable. This had an interesting like summoning effect. It was an EX, I think. Um, I think you discarded your hand or something like that. If you played this your first turn, if I remember correctly. Anything else that looks relevant? Oh, more of these, or is this the same one? A bit for each hand. So did they just like make some new arts for some cards? Well, that's kind of underwhelming. This is gonna like seeing Ayuno is gonna pee me off because why do we need a second one? And we did have Penny too, right? Yeah, Penny was already in the game. With some shinies. Ooh, shiny intake. Oh, all the shiny. Ooh, everyone's gonna be having this weekend. Excalibur. Jeez. Yeah, pretty underwhelming, honestly. Only good card really. Excalibur is really interesting. This team Star Grunt is also very interesting. I don't think anyone's gonna play this stadium. I think Messagoza because you imagine you're hitting tails and you play the stadium and your opponent keeps getting hits every time. And like, what the? I just that would be unfortunate unless your deck is a super heavy. Even then, it's not worth it. But it could potentially be like a very strong Pokeball if you get it early and you get lucky. So, um, yeah, Dingo of course looks decent. Belly Bolt does not look like it has much value, in my opinion. Um, like I said, Bass Caliber. Shing Pao is interesting, but I can't remember. Is there no way to like accelerate your watering? So if this thing essentially is like dead for a turn, it looks like, right? 130? 130? Then I guess if you attack again, it's 120. 130 is enough to like one shot a lot of stuff. It kills itself, which is always funny. Um, 130 on anything too. Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. I honestly don't know. This one looks really interesting though. 120, and no way you're gonna pair this, but if you compare these to if you compare these two, you're doing 170, but almost impossible to pull that off because this is discarding energy, and then you have to discard the energy here. So you would need you would just need flame patches, but it's just highly unlikely you're getting that. But I guess an early Mag B while you kind of stall to set these things up, maybe not too bad. Amy Oscarado, again, nothing seemed too crazy in my opinion, but um, it's an interesting card. Yeah, I don't think this set doesn't look too game changing, honestly, at all. So, um, it's good to see some old arts and some cards that actually, but other than that, doesn't seem like this is gonna shake up anything. But who knows? People are very creative in this game, and things always seem to somehow sneak its way in off from all every time they drop a new set, something something seems to make a new deck or impact or something like that. So, anyways, that's all I got for you guys. If you guys enjoy, man, thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe. We'll catch you next one. Real out, man.